Good morning, everybody. Let us continue our grammar chapter and we shall move to another chapter, that is concord, or it is otherwise known as the agreement of the verbs with their subjects, or simply it is called as subject-verb agreement. Though it is not prescribed to the higher secondary classes, but it is very important in the sense that in most of the competitive exams and even in the questions that is about editing the or if it is about correct the error, then one of the questions must be based on this chapter, concord or subject-verb agreement. It has been labeled or it is given the name as subject-verb agreement because sometimes we make the mistake in putting the verb according to the subject that it agrees. During that time, our aim is to find out which one is the subject and afterwards we should put the verb accordingly. So in that sense, see here, the name of the topic as subject-verb agreement or concord. First of all, let us know that when we write I go, it is the first person and in singular. So the verb remains in its base form or naked form or first form, what we say, it is I go. Even in case of plural, first person plural, it is the same. In case of third person also, second person, in case of second person, the verb remains in its base form. But whenever there is the change of the person that comes to third person, he, she or it, then it becomes goes, not go. See. So with the change of the person, basically in present tense, the verb also changes. It becomes goes. If other verbs are like sleep, then it becomes sleeps. If it is take, then it becomes takes exactly. So, according to the person, basically first and third person, in present tense, the verb is put or verb is filled up with according to the change that it, general word that it agrees with the subject. Or we should put the verb basically that it agrees with the subject. For example, in case of, see, we have to know actually how to find out the real subject and to put the real verbs. Suppose, number one, in case of one of, see, one of is always, one of is always followed by a plural noun. See, this is the rule. Wherever one of is there, there must be a plural noun. Suppose we may write one of my friends, otherwise it is wrong. One of my friends or one of the students, or we may write boys, or we may write girls, or farmers, any noun that is written after one of, that must be plural. It is the usual use. See, but let us now know the exception. What it is? But it takes, it means one of. It takes a singular verb. Though the noun is plural, but we have to put a singular verb. Why? Why should we put a singular verb even though the noun is plural? Because the real subject is what is the real subject? The real subject is one. That is why whatever the noun it may be, or it may be in plural form, but we should write the singular verb. For example, suppose these are the examples. See, we shall write here examples. How? Suppose one of my friends. Here friends is not the subject, the real subject is one. So that is why we should put the verb here according to that. If it is in past, then singular verb, that is was. If it is in present, then is. We should not put the verb according to this particular subject. Rather, the real subject is one. So one of my friends is a doctor. So many times most of the students, they deviate in putting the real verb. So that is why it becomes a mistake. So exactly we may write one of the students. If you write student, then it is also wrong, because one of is always followed by a plural noun. So one of the students is, or we may write was. If it refers to past tense, then is or was. One of the students is or was obedient. Or punctual, or anything we can write, but the verb should be singular. Why? Real subject is one. This one. See, so this is the most important thing we should learn. One of my friends is a doctor, or even you can put the singular verb has. For another example, I may write here, suppose here one of the boys had written the essay. Here we put here the singular verb. It is generally put in case of third person singular number, and if it is in present, or we may put here yes in third person singular. So why do we write here? Because boys is not the subject, rather one is the subject. Or we may write, suppose one of the girls remains absent. One of the girls remains. See the verb in its singular form that we put in case of third person singular present tense. So basically in simple present. So why it becomes remains, not remain, even though there is the plural noun? Because here it agrees with this one. The verb agrees with the subject one, not girls. So real subject one, that is why the subject has been, topic has been given as subject verb agreement. Our motto is to find out what is the real subject or which one is the real subject, and according to the subject we have to put the verb. So I think it will be beneficial to all of you, because this is only the introductory class, and we shall continue. Many aspects are there regarding subject verb agreement, and it is very important not only for you, rather it is important for all, even the students of the higher study or basically those who are aspirants for any competitive exams where English is essential or there is the requirement of English. They should learn this particular chapter very well because surely there must be some of the question based on concord or subject verb agreement. Basing on the teachings, what actually it has been taught or it has been discussed on subject verb agreement. These are the questions I have assigned you, and I think it will be very easier for you, to answer all these questions, or you have to rectify all these sentences and you can do them very easily. So it is all for today, and in our next class we shall continue the other aspects of subject verb agreement, and thank you all.